1905. The plaque near the front gate said he was a paratrooper from the 82nd, so he deserved better than what C.O.P. Kramer had become, which was a glorified gas station. We called it 7-Eleven and, unfortunately, home. I was not that long retired from 3rd Special Forces Group, a victim of Obama's purge of the warfighters in the years leading up to the end of his second term. Why was I at a refueling depot in a godforsaken corner of the sandbox, not running Commando Steve missions of daring do and glory? Good question. I asked myself that plenty of times too. Most of it had to do with the Great Purge, which had driven down the price of labor across the board for all of us former ninjas. 2021 was a rough time to only possess the skill set of killing bad guys, with the decline of American power abroad. Our first orange president had lasted only long enough to wipe ISIS off the map before the opposition party managed to have him and his VP impeached, mostly on some made-up charges and some highly sketchy testimonies. The soy boy Speaker of the House became president and picked a recently pardoned Hillary as his second, hoping to appease the populace since she won the popular vote. A few days later he resigned and the circle was complete. Wrath of the Clinton beast soon followed. There were some predictable protests, and some 3% groups even tried to start an armed rebellion. Hillary responded with a jackbooted lesson that would have made Janet Reno blush. The deep state, so bent on the destruction of Trump, had closed ranks to protect their queen. Military men quit in droves, most of them heading out west. The ones that didn't hang it up in disgust at the Banana Republic politics left not long after, when the full-fledged tyranny circus invaded all the services. The once great U.S. military, Praetorian Guard of the world's only superpower, crumbled from within. 12 years of combined social experiments and humiliation did what no foreign power ever could. It reduced our forces to ashes. The new military was a giant welfare leech at best, often proving incapable of tying its own proverbial shoes. I guess that is a skill you learn after you decide what genitals you want to wear. Anyway, the flood of surplus labor wreaked havoc on the contracting market. Even a year before, I wouldn't get out of bed for less than $750 a day plus per diem. And we better have all the new Arx Terex Gucci kit to boot. Now, when you couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting 10-pipe hitting Special Operations Tier 11 badasses, the game had changed. Contracts that once had prerequisites like must be breathing, 2 years military service, waivable, and reasonably capable of hitting the floor with a dropped pistol now said things like, if we could print the name of your unit, please do not apply, and filled up overnight. I was caught with my pants down. I had made some bad choices after I got bounced out of the service, spent time like an idiot figuring out what I wanted to be when I grew up. Hiking the Appalachian Trail, enjoying nature, exploring the country I had defended but rarely seen all those years. Stupid, but I did it. The few coins I had made from contracts I had mostly blown on fast cars and faster women, which didn't seem like a mistake at the time, but certainly did when they were over. Not to mention, I felt something like patriotism rising in my throat every time I saw that traitorous bitch on TV. I had a lot of years of experience on a sniper rifle and a bad whiskey habit. I needed to get out of the country for a while. Before I did something me and the Secret Service both regretted in the morning. I just needed a little nest egg to buy some land in Wyoming before the revolution started. You have to have somewhere to make popcorn for the fireworks show. With the national divorce on the horizon, Wyoming's low population density made it unlikely to be strategic ground for either side. So I took the first job I could land, which took me back to Iraq and half my usual pay. And what a miserable job it was going to be. C.O.P. Kramer was located northeast of Al-Qud, which is to say in the middle of nowhere. It existed only as a midway refueling point between Firebase Apache in the north and Firebase Clark in the south, on the rare occasion supplies or troops needed to move between those 2 points. Most people thought Madam President would appease her base by pulling all the forces out of Iraq, especially since ISIS was gone. She must have owned stock in KBR, though. There was still a large troop presence conducting train and advise missions. These days, that mostly meant salsa night and an excuse to ask for a discount at Home Depot back home for the rest of your life, though there were still some Green Berets and others trying to do the right thing. The tide was against them, but God bless them, they were trying. The COP was part Old West Ford and part